All right, we live, we live, we live.
Yes,
What up,
sir.
people?
What's good?
What up? Let me get my little ticker real quick. Welcome to the First to Go podcast where we talk Kansas City Chiefs football. Please do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mike D Media 816. Thanks for helping us grow. We truly appreciate it. Hey, welcome back, man. We got Tremaine back on the show. What's up, my guy?
All right, how you feeling, bro? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I'm good. Hey, we had a good show last time. Why not run it back?
Yeah, for sure.
You went to the game on Sunday?
Yeah, man. Went to the game and I was feeling good. I was feeling good. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but it was good to be out there. Outside of the opener,
Right,
having following back up with the Bengals coming in town. It was just like it felt
right,
just
right.
like it was week one.
Right. First two games of the season was crazy. Ravens and
Yeah.
Bengals, like that shit
Whew.
was insane.
That's a gauntlet right there alone.
All right, here we go. The Kansas City Chiefs narrowly defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 26-25 in a thrilling game last week. The game was decided by a 51-yard field goal by Harrison Butker as time expired, following a crucial pass interference penalty on the Bengals during a 4th and 16 play.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes threw for 151 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, while the Bengals' Joe Burrow had a solid performance but couldn't secure the win. The game featured 5 lead changes in the second half, making it an exciting matchup for
Yeah.
fans. What'd you think about the game?
I thought that coming out, I felt good about just our level of play. I was just kind of all over the board. I knew that once I saw Pat connect with Rashi Rice with that big play, I was like, okay, there we go. That's what we're looking for. And I felt like we were going to see a lot more of that. I increasingly became concerned probably in the middle of the first quarter. I just started looking at our offensive line, uh, left tackle per se.
Right, right, right,
and I'm noticing that Pat is getting a lot of pressure, and Travis Kelsey's not touching the football. It's
right,
it's a quarter or two. I'm like, I mean, the whole game, what he had 34 yards, like something
right,
like
right.
that.
Kelsey,
And
Kelsey
so,
definitely not getting involved.
oh man, and so like what I noticed, one thing I did notice was that Kelsey was staying the chip block a lot of the times because we needed help,
Right.
like just to keep them off of Pat. And
Kind of
so,
like
man,
Andrews last week for the Ravens helping with their left
exactly.
tackle.
Exactly. So I felt good initially, but man, I became increasingly concerned as the more the game would progress down. I just became increasingly concerned. Just
Right.
we just wasn't looking like we weren't looking good, you
In
know.
the left tackle's defense, I mean, number 91 is a dog and he going to work over whoever's there.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully he watched film, he studied where he effed up at, and
yeah.
he'll get better.
Oh, 100%. I think it was who's that kid? I think I wrote have his name here. Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah,
Uh
Hendrickson's a beast.
Man, he led the Bengals with 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and forced the Chiefs to go backward by creating a couple of holding penalties too, because he
Right.
just couldn't be contained.
Right. Yeah, he's a,
Uh,
he's a he's a dog.
yeah, but yeah, definitely not our best game. But for Chiefs football to not be playing Chiefs football and to come out with a win, I was okay. But down the line, I definitely don't want to see Pat taking those chances. He was trying to put
Right.
him in areas where he's like, I just want to create something because
Right.
my offensive line isn't holding, so I'm going to try to create something and be great on my own, and that's never what we want to see.
All right. Speaking of Pat, let's jump right in with the offense side of the ball. Give me some plus size to the offense in this game.
The plus side to the offense, I feel like, of course, like I said, we talked about previously the week, Rashi Rice. I love what he's doing. He's staying consistent. I think that we're going to consistently see him show up. Maybe not always score a touchdown, but I mean, I'm looking for Rashi Rice to have 50 to 60 yards every single game on average for the
Yeah,
whole season.
I think it's going to be more than that. I
Yeah,
think the guy's going to get 70 to 100 every game,
yeah,
and he's the threat to score. I think. I mean, his yards after the catch is going to always make him
yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. What I also enjoyed, like, I really enjoy us running the football. I like the fact that we inserted. I liked seeing Carson Steele in the game. I know a lot of people didn't. I
Right.
enjoyed it. He coughed the football up and cost us a timely, possession. And
Right.
with that fumble
And
loss. But
Right. Andy Reid don't like fumbles either, so I was
yeah,
surprised of him putting him back in. But I guess you want to make sure he believes in himself. You can't
yeah,
just
yeah.
chalk him off at the one mistake.
100%. But I liked Pat. There was times where he looked like the best player in the world, but then there was time where I'm like, "What are you doing?" I
Right, right.
honestly did not like our offense because I felt like we didn't have one. I didn't like the play calling for
A
this
lot of
game.
play calling was terrible this game. Like, and then with
Yeah,
Pat, I mean, we got all the speed for him to be underthrowing receivers is
yeah,
kind of unacceptable to me. You should be leading them and letting them run and catch up with the ball. He threw a lot of underthrown balls this week.
yeah.
If I'm gonna give a plus side to the offense, I mean, I'm gonna have to give it to the kicking game. I mean, Bucker sealing
Oh
the
man,
51-yard field goal. To me, that's really the only plus I seen out of the offense this week.
that's really it.
Since
Honestly.
Cincy just had us on our heels. Just I don't know
Hmm.
what it is when we play Cincy. I mean, we're 3-0 in the last 3 games against them, but
Right. Yeah.
do we ever really play a good game? Like it's always like
Tough one. Grind
right.
out.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I look forward to us being a lot better. I mean, honestly, playing two great teams like that. I think that it was almost harder to play the Bengals than it was playing the Ravens because
Right,
of the way that that defensive coordinator on the other side of the football was calling his
right.
plays. I mean, he gave so many disguises with Pat. With the pressure that they was getting straight off the line, combined with containing Travis Kelsey, that guy Cam Taylor Britt. I mean, we say what you want about his running his mouth, but
He got that interception. I mean, that was partially Pat's fault, but that was a great interception.
yeah, I mean, so they really came out to beat us, and I feel like that game looks different though. I don't think that what I saw was probably one of the worst games I've seen us
Oh,
play
for sure.
um, ever under Pat. So
Right. Well,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Speaking, Patrick Mahomes had an off day. Would you agree? Yeah, we both agree.
yeah, yeah.
What adjustments need to be made to the offense?
We need to do more of what we used to do. A lot of screenplays. We weren't doing any of that at all
I could see
because
that happening this week with Pacheco out and P Ryan. P
yeah,
Ryan's a real, a screen running back. So I could see a lot of that happen this
yeah,
coming week.
screenplays. They took away all of our underneath routes. But I look forward to Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelsey, getting involved, on those underneath routes and putting a lot of pressure on them and making those safeties and making those corners have to choose up. And that's the thing. I think that if we do that, if we're doing screenplays, that's going to cause them to change up their defense. I don't feel like Cincinnati had to really change much about their identity throughout
Right,
the whole entire game.
right,
And
right.
so I think screen passes, Pat just being more poised and taking what we're giving him. There's so many times I saw him throwing the football, even when he's throwing the long ball. It's like there's a lot of other things that he could have did by going through his progressions and just checking that ball down. A little
Right.
inner Alex Smith. If
Right, right. Better protection. I mean, if it's any kind of adjustment to me, is we got to protect Pat,
yeah,
because if he's on the run, he's making quick decisions, then that's when he's gonna make mistakes through the 2 interceptions. Oh man, one of the interceptions was so bad. I'm like, what
yeah,
in the fuck?
yeah,
Now the other one, I mean, just a great catch. I mean, a leaping one-handed interception. It ain't
yeah,
much you could do about that, other than he underthrew Worthy. If he would have threw it a little further, Worthy could have caught up with it instead of coming
yeah.
back for
Yeah, and Worthy is a smaller guy.
it.
You put it up there, it's gonna be hard for him to go get that thing. So,
Right, right, right.
yeah,
Pat had a rough outing.
he did. But I look for him to be a lot better than that, and we know that to be true. We know
Oh, for
that
sure.
you see Pat play a bad game like that, it's pretty much going to be 100% followed up by a pretty good game. So,
Right.
yeah, most definitely.
All right, here we go. Pacheco seemed like he had to put a lot of work in for 90 yards and got hurt. How big a loss is that to our offense?
I think it was a bigger loss than what people think. We are deep at the back position, but we were missing Clyde Edwards-Helaire already,
Right.
and that's someone that's already, he's already acclimated with the systems. Then to be missing Isaiah Pacheco with his energy that he provides, I just really think that's a big piece. He's been a big intricate piece of how we've been able to win championships, things of that nature. And he plays championship ball. I mean, he runs with a full head of steam. He does a good job. And like to have someone just come in there and say, "Hey, we need you to give us the same level of not only intensity but success.
Right.
I think that that's easier said than done, honestly.
Huge loss for the offense for sure. Because
Yeah,
now the defensive game plan for the other team, they don't have to worry about Pacheco. They don't have to worry about the run game. Now they lock in on the pass game. So we really need, when we go to Atlanta, we need Steele or P Ryan, whoever's coming up, to really, 5-6 yards of carry, really make
yeah.
make the defense focus in on the run. It's gonna be tough, but everybody compared Steele to Pacheco, so I mean, maybe we get to see if he's got it earlier than we thought we was going to see it.
I think he's gonna be pretty good. I mean, I really see him being very successful, even coming up into this game, this very next game. I see him with a solid 50 yards or something like that, 50 or 60 yards.
Yeah, we need
I
more
think
than
he can. Yeah, we do, but I think he can do that, and they're gonna have to definitely balance it with P Ryan. But one thing I really enjoy about P Ryan is I do
that.
see him kind of setting in the backfield and then running a flat route, catching the football and getting a lot of yak, you know, and
Right.
stuff like that. So I see Andy Reid disguising and running a lot better plays than he called this
Yeah,
last week.
for sure. The play calling, oh my god, was just
Horrible,
bad. I
horrible.
mean, also, I mean, why did it look like Pacheco had to work so hard for 90 yards? Like,
Yeah, I just think that
we need
that
better
defense,
blocking or what? Or was it their defense was just locked in?
yeah, they were super locked in, honestly. And normally that's not a problem, but when you play a team a lot, especially a team that has had our number quite a few times,
Right.
they just play with the extra level of intensity. That defensive coordinator, he already knew what he wanted to do. He's really close to us in a sense, to where he knows some of the things that we do well, and he worked very hard to take a lot of those things away, including Travis Kelsey, one of the
All right.
best players to ever live. So,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, let's stick with the. Oh damn! I just erased it. But let's stick with the running game. I mean, we lost Pacheco. We signed Kareem Hunt. And he says possibility he could play Atlanta Sunday night. It just depends on how quick he comes along, how good he looks, and
Yeah, I
what do
love
you think?
that.
What do you think about that signing? You think that's going to help? I mean, he
I
might not
think,
be the same Hunt as 5 years. He wasn't even in the league.
yeah. But there's just something about players that have something to prove, something to lose. I just think that this is a good signing. I feel like Pat would have won another championship before his first one.
Right.
That year,
We all think we wouldn't have lost to New England in the AFC
man,
Championship if we would
it
have
was
had
just something
Pacheco.
about the
I
things
mean,
that Kareem
Hunt.
Hunt was doing that year. But it has been a long time. A long time has elapsed in this, and
It
I
was
feel like,
special. 20
yeah,
2019 was it 2018? That was he was
yeah,
looking special, but
man,
he hasn't looked special since. I mean, he had a
right.
few
I
good games in Cleveland, but
Yeah, well, I think that, yeah, we want Carson Steele to have the football, but when we get in the red zone, I think that's when Kareem Hunt is one of the most dangerous people.
right.
Like, yeah, he can break open in the open field, but I watched him when he played for Cleveland, and there were so many times where they got in that red zone, and then he
And he's
was getting
scoring
the
touchdowns,
yeah,
right? I had him
So
on my I had him on my fantasy team as a backup, and I mean he still would get some touchdowns. He wouldn't have no damn yards, but he still get two touchdowns or something.
Yeah, yeah, and so I look forward to them utilizing them. I think Andy Reid and Nagy. I think they can figure it out. I don't know if it's all going to come together this week the way that we expect it to, even if he does see the field.
Right,
And I'm not even gonna you know expect him to do that.
right.
But I am expecting our run game to
It's gonna
still
P Ryan
hold
and
it
Steele
down.
show, right? It's gonna
Yeah,
be a P Ryan and Steele show. I'm just wondering who's gonna get the bulk of the carries.
I'm going for Steele getting the bulk of the
I
carries.
mean,
Honestly.
that's who I want because I mean, like I said, P Ryan's more of a screen pass
Yeah.
type of running back. So
Yeah,
third down, he's
I'm
almost like
starting.
what McKinnon was for us. You know what I
hmm
mean?
I'm starting Steele in my fantasy. I picked him up. People laughed
Nice.
at me, and
Good luck. I'm not gonna lie. I went and snatched Hunt just in case.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
put him on the
absolutely,
bench. I'll put him on the bench for week one, but we'll
yeah,
see what happens.
hundred
All right,
percent.
here we go. Marquise Brown is on a 1 year deal. We lost him before seeing much of anything. Should the Chiefs be working on an extension for Marquise Brown?
I think they need to just kind of monitor this thing. Just I believe in our organization. They're going to do the right thing, but I think they can. Yeah, they can work on it, but I don't want them to do anything premature. You know, we don't know
Right.
the extent of injuries when you have these players that get hurt like that. When you're talking about extending someone, they definitely want to monitor that. They say that he's looking at being ready to play in the postseason.
Yeah.
So I just figure they're going to probably just
See if he comes
monitor.
back and does something.
Yeah, yeah. And if not, they might still try to find a way to keep him. Here lately, we've been making really good decisions. Like we talked about it last year or last week. That I mean, the same money that they're paying Tyreek Hill, we're paying our players like 50% of his yearly income
Right,
for
right,
one
right.
team for our whole offensive unit of wide receivers.
Right. I kind of
Um,
look at it like, hey, I mean, he got $7 million this year. That he
yeah,
he he got a $7 million practice catch. Like
yeah,
one catch
yeah,
got hurt, $7 million. Like
yeah.
I don't think we should jump the gun on extension at
No,
all.
no,
I
especially
really
because they
I really was
expected it to
excited to
heal.
see, right. I was really excited to see what he was going to bring to the table. He worked hard in the offseason. We didn't get to see it. So unless it's like on an extremely good deal with us already give him 7 million and not getting
Yeah.
nothing in return, I'm not sure we should.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we should. I think that with that Tyreek Hill had the same injury for the Chiefs. He healed a lot much faster. So that's what they were thinking like, oh, if
Well,
we
that's
just set
because
him out.
we went ahead and had surgery. Tyreek had the surgery.
Yeah.
If he would have went ahead and had the surgery instead of seeing how it was going to heal, he would already been ready to come back because it was only
Yeah.
like a 4 or 5 week injury. He got
Yeah.
hurt week 1 of the preseason, week 2, week 3, week 1, week 2. He would be on his way to coming back.
Yeah, very close.
That
You
was
know.
bad move on our doctors, I think. Like
Yeah, I think they just
super
wanted to
bad
play
move.
it by ear and things like that happen. I do think that that's why we are so deep. I think now we are looking at, man, there's not enough balls to go around with all the wide receivers that we have on our
Right,
team. But
right,
now we're
right,
seeing that, hey, I mean, we got Isaiah Pacheco out, we got Hollywood Brown out. I mean, other teams have a lot of intricate players like CMC out. A lot of players are getting hurt this year early on, so that is a level of concern for anybody,
right.
including the Kansas City Chiefs.
So on Kelsey's podcast, Kelsey admitted to needing to play better. Are you worried at all about his performance the first 2 weeks?
I'm not really worried, honestly, just because I know Kelsey all down the stretch, he always shows up. We go back to last year, he was not looking good for a large portion of the year,
Right.
but
He
he
went
made
like he
up
went like 5 games or something without a touchdown or
without
something.
nothing, right?
Right.
And so, but he always does the right things at the right time. And so, like, that's what we look for Travis Kelsey to do. I'd rather him stay healthy and not beat his body up throughout the year of us depending on him to get 80 to 100 yards
I
every
mean,
game,
in
you
his
know,
defense, he did have a nice 51-yard play that was called back
taken
on
away. Yeah.
on a flag. So
Yeah. And it's frustrating. You can see that he was wearing that frustration because when you're that great, you want to go out there and especially against a worthy opponent in the Bengals
yeah, you
and
want all these greats to play their best. Play
yeah,
at a top level.
100%.
I think he gets it together.
Oh, 100%. He will. He will, no doubt. I mean, he always does. We're looking at a small sample size of the season. That was against two of the best teams that we will play all season long. So,
Last question.
definitely.
Last question for the offense. Do we have any MVPs on offense this game?
If there's any MVPs, it has to be Rashi Rice. Rashi Rice is the one. If he doesn't score that touchdown, we look a lot differently. And shout
Right,
out
right.
to Wanye Morris
Right. Wanya getting the end zone.
getting in the end zone. But to be
He said
totally
he
honest,
said it felt like forever for the ball to get to
I
him.
bet it did. I bet it
Slow
did.
motion.
But Pat had to just kind of give him a nice one, just so nothing tight,
That was
nothing.
a good play.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean, Rashi Rice, his consistency wins every single time. Every time he touches the field, he shows up. There hasn't been a game yet that we can say, where was Rashi Rice?
Right.
He shows up every single game. And so I think that has to go to him. The rest of our offense was dependent on Bucker and depending
Right.
on our
Right. Right.
alignment to catch a
Well,
touchdown.
you just said it right there. I mean, if it's an offensive MVP, I mean, even though he's special teams, I mean, I'm going to give it to Bucker.
Yeah,
I mean, coming in with that pressure. You know, it's the Bengals. We got to hit this to win, or they're going to be talking so much shit
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
media,
100%.
like so much trash. So that was a lot of
Yeah.
pressure on him. And then boom, knock down a 51-yarder, take your ass home.
And it's not easy. It's
I'm
not
gonna
as
give
easy as everyone thinks.
I'm gonna give Bucker that MVP for sure.
Yeah. I would respect that all day for sure. Yeah.
Let's talk defense. What would you rate the defense against the Bengals?
Man, I
Here,
honestly,
here's a little bit of help. The defense gave up 25 points, 320 yards, had 3 sacks on Burrow. Where do you think we're at on that?
I give our defense like a solid B, B plus. Honestly, only because there's the refs were all over the place. This was not a normal game on both sides of the football when it comes down to how the refs were calling the game. I just felt like, we just kind of had to roll with it. But I give them a solid B, B plus. I
Yeah,
know that the Bengals scored 25 points or whatever, but our ability to turn the heat up on Joe Burrow and put some pressure on him, that strip that led to a touchdown,
yeah,
these are all winning mechanism things that we had to do just to get this win. So without defense doing a couple of those good things, I mean, we don't win this football game.
yeah.
Pat,
I'm gonna
you
give
know,
him. I'm gonna give him a B minus. I would
yeah,
give him a C, but since we scored on defense, I can't give him a C.
yeah,
A C plus, but the linebackers got to do better. I mean, their tight ends was shredding us up, 100 and something yards first half. They were
yeah,
5 for 5 in the red zone, like scoring. Maybe they didn't get TDs all 5 for 5, but they scored 5 times. They got in the red zone. We got to do better, especially on third down.
yeah.
Like we got to get some stops.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think that I mean this is what happens when you're playing two of the best teams that you're going to play all year long. And I feel like we have to take every team serious. We're everybody's Super Bowl this whole year, just like last year, and so our defense, I think they're only going to get better. I believe in Spags and the things that he does. There's times where we get shredded up, but overall. I like our defense. I believe in our defense, and I think that there's going to be a couple games this year that our defense wins for us because
Right,
Pat's not going to be looking, how he's
Marcus.
supposed to look.
Marcus says, I'm still concerned with our short yardage game on offense. For
Oh yeah,
sure. We look confused. If we need 2 yards, it's like we're so confused on what to
Mhm.
do. It makes no sense at all.
Passing it when we're supposed to run it, running it when we're supposed to pass it. Horrible
Right.
play calling. If it's 2nd and 1, we don't need to try to do nothing cute. Let's mash the ball right down. If it's 2nd and 1, forget running the foot, forget passing the football. That's just
Right.
how I feel.
Right.
Let's run the football.
Run it.
Like,
Right.
and then if we don't make it, it's 3rd and 1.
Run it again. Right.
Run it
Shit.
again.
Run that motherfucker
Or
again.
run a screenplay or something, but at least opens it up. Like when we go out there on 2nd and 1, now it's 3rd and 1. I mean, wasn't there a time that we went for it on 4th down and didn't get it?
Yeah. Well, we went for it twice on fourth down, and we think we got it both times.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, like when it's 2nd and 1, we need to run the football. So definitely, I agree with you, Marcus. Man, like we got to be better.
Right.
Like,
He just said the same thing you said. We consistently pass on second and short. Like
yeah,
it's insane. Like just pick the first down up. Like
yeah,
it's
that's
third and
all.
short. It's even 3rd and 1, and we'll throw that motherfucker fucking down the field and shit. Like what the
Yeah,
fuck? Like just get the first down, keep it moving.
4th and 16 is what took for us to even
Mhm.
do anything. So yeah, man, it's there. I agree with that, Marcus. Just the play calling, Andy Reid. I guarantee you, he's gonna have some things dialed up for Atlanta.
Right. Why can't we play a good game on offense and defense against the Bengals? Do they just, earlier in the week it said someone on their team said they were built to beat the Chiefs, even though they're 0-3 of the last 3 tries. But they said that team was built to beat us. Is that what it is? They just built to like give us the best competition.
I think so. I really do. I think so because there's just I think that if there's a rivalry, the rivalry is the Bengals. The Bengals are the only team in the Patrick Mahomes era that actually went past Pat and went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
The Bengals are the only team that really have beat Pat more than he's beat them.
Right.
Joe Burrow's that Joe
I
Burrow.
think it's even now. I think it's 3 games to 3 now.
Okay, but you know what I mean. He's
Right.
he's beat
He
Pat
beat us when it
enough.
counted. No one else
a
has beat
hundred
us when
percent.
it counted besides Brady and
Yeah,
Burrow. That's it.
and
Everybody else took a L.
yeah, so they definitely are the team to beat. And like I said, even taking the Bengals offense all the way off the board, their defense. I mean, there was so many things that they were doing that was Pat was flustered. There was times where I just felt like we didn't know what to do,
Right, right, right,
throughout that game. So
right.
definitely.
It was some bad decisions made on offense.
Oh yeah, 100%.
How would you rate our linebackers through week 2?
I think that our linebackers did okay. Like probably same around that B minus area. We got to be much better than what we've seen these first two games. I know it was against the high level teams in the Ravens and in the Bengals, but like we're not playing down the competition, but I think we're playing down in competition. Like I don't feel like we are anything close to what we should be, at this
Right,
point.
right, right.
And I feel like our linebackers have to be much better, especially like you said, the tight ends shredding us up over 100 and something yards in the first half. A lot of that has to do with our linebackers,
For
you know.
sure.
And so I think
Damn.
that we
Hey,
definitely need to.
I'm still
Uh,
here. Just give me a second.
yeah, yeah, no worries. I definitely think that we definitely need to be better. There's a lot of plays where you see next thing you know, our linebacker is out here chasing a wide receiver because of the coverage drops and the way that they're running their offense. Next thing you know, we got a linebacker that's chasing a wide receiver. I don't like seeing stuff like that, and so we definitely just got to be better at communicating and just be better all out in a game against Atlanta coming up, where this should be a game where we can really get our bearings back. A game that we can just get back acclimated, maybe, get up to mid 30s, scoring the football. So I definitely look for our linebackers to be better and put a lot of pressure. I look forward to our, our linebackers putting a lot of pressure coming into this next game against Kirk Cousins. I watched that game that they stole from the Eagles, and I
Yeah.
feel like our linebackers could have their way in that football game against.
Linebackers got to be better. I'm not giving them no B. The
Yeah,
linebackers to me have played like garbage.
yeah,
Like to me, garbage. Tranquil ain't lived up to what he was last year so far. Bolton, he looks a step behind on coverage every single play. Chanel's a dog. He been playing. That's all you've been
yeah,
seeing is Chanel. That's the only thing you've been really hearing is
yeah.
Chanel. Where's our two starters? Where Tranquil and Bolton? They need to step up and really play better in week 3. I mean, I'm hoping I Cousins got a win last week against Philly, prime time. He's playing again in prime time against the Chiefs. Everybody says he can't play in prime time, but he won last week. They're going to bring it this week to try to get their second win.
Yeah,
Linebackers got to be better. They got a good tight end, Pitts.
yeah,
They're gonna if they take a page out of the first 2 weeks with us, they're gonna feed it to the tight ends. Feed it to the tight ends. Matter of
yeah.
fact, if you got an Atlanta tight end on your fantasy, I'd start them
I
because
do. I got Kyle Pitts on my
so
fantasy.
so far the tight end's been balling on us.
Yeah, yeah, they have, and I think that that's a big adjustment. I mean, nowadays tight ends aren't just chip blocking and catching 4 yard passes. I mean, they're putting a lot of pressure on the defense, and we got. I was saying is you got people like Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton who, in coverage switches, are getting switched on a wide receiver, chasing them down the field 10,
Right,
15, 20 yards deep down the field. You never like to see something like that.
right.
That's a
I'm with
recipe
you.
for a disaster.
I'm with you, Marcus. Marcus says we miss Gay. My next question was, do we miss Snead and Willie Gay yet?
Yeah, I actually, as much as I miss Snead because he was the best thing that we had, but I really do miss Willie Gay a lot, especially in the sense of what we need from the back position. For one, because Willie Gay speed, his quickness to
He
put
was a coverage
pressure.
linebacker, right? Batting
Yeah,
down balls, and he
quick.
was on it, right?
And that's what we need, and that's what we didn't see this whole game from our backs. We didn't see any speed. We didn't see that
Right.
pressure, that quick twitch. And
Well,
Willie Gay, he has that.
yeah, we lost our cover linebacker. I mean, Bolton's not a cover linebacker. Chanel's not a cover linebacker.
Hmm.
Tranquil's a hitter. All our linebackers are hitters. They're run
Yeah,
stoppers.
Yeah.
So when it comes to coverage, we're like, whoa, we're in trouble. Like the safeties got to really step up and help the linebackers in coverage. And I mean, Reed did he got beat a few times, but Reed also put some fucking hits on out there.
Yeah, yeah, and you already know. I mean, I've been enjoying our corner. Why am I having a blank? Our best corner that we have, and I can't even think of his name right now, which is
McDuffie.
embarrassing. McDuffie. Thank you so much. I think that he's also been pretty consistent throughout this.
Oh yeah, no
First two
complaints from
games.
McDuffie for sure. He
Um,
held he held Chase to 3 catches, 40 yards or something, 45
well,
yards.
he only, to be totally honest, yeah, he held him to that. But whenever he was covering Jamar Chase got, I think it was 4 yards. He got 40 something or 30, 40 something total. But on all the coverage by McDuffie, he caught one pass for
I
four
agree,
yards.
Marcus. Trent is a dog.
Yeah,
But that's how much better it was with Snead and Trent. You know what I mean? Like whenever Snead, let's not forget the sacks that Snead would get sneaking in there, batting down balls and getting sacks, you know what I mean? And now you can't send a cornerback in there, even though we did send a corner in there, and I think Connors made the sack.
yeah.
But we did that a lot back then, you know what I mean? Send Snead or send McDuffie in there. We would send a corner in there on a corner blitz. We can't really do that now, I don't think, especially the way these linebackers are covering.
Yeah, the last thing we want McDuffie to do is be on the other side of the line whenever whoever the quarterback is looking at an
Right,
open
right.
wide receiver going down the field.
So I
So
believe we definitely miss Snead and Willie Gay. I mean, is it going to make us lose games? No. I think the defense played well. I mean, we held them to 25 points. I mean, that's the Bengals. We held the Bengals to 25 points and got the win. So
yeah, I saw a
we
stat that said since 2018, no team has scored over 28 points on us or something weird like that. I
yeah,
forgot what it is. But our defense, we're only gonna get better. I mean,
right.
we have to really just look at the fact that we played the Ravens and we played the Bengals, two of the biggest rivalry games that we'll have all year long. Not saying that these other games aren't going to be competitive or going to be hard fought because they will be
Right,
just as hard fought, but
right.
just in a different way. I think that going into this next week, we can really put up a lot more offense than what we
r-
did.
Right. What'd you think of the flag at the end of the game?
I mean, that was clearly a pass interference. I don't know what everyone else was seeing. The only reason why people were so mad about it is because of the timing. And yes, the timing sucks. And if you're a Bengals fan, you're going back to last year when Pat is out of bounds and getting shoved in the back, which that was also a
Right.
penalty.
A penalty's
That
a
was,
penalty, right? Right.
hey, you know what I mean? That's a
Penalty's
penalty.
a penalty. And I believe if it's a penalty late in a game like that, I believe it's crucial to not let it go because you shouldn't let a missed penalty
Yeah.
keep a team from winning if they have a chance to win.
Yeah, yeah. It was just they looking at if it's 4th and 16, so they're looking at, oh, Pat just has to throw up a prayer. So the fact
Right.
that this ref would blow his whistle and
But
call
it
this,
wasn't but it wasn't even a prayer. Like if he don't bump him,
I think
Rice jump ups and
Rice
catches
catches that
that
football.
ball, right? And let's not
Yeah,
forget that the play before or two plays before, Rice picked up the first down,
yeah,
16 yards, and then it was called back on a hold, which
yeah,
so as a Chiefs fan, should I say that's bullshit? Let them play. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Hey,
yeah,
like
yeah. That
it's the
was
same
clearly,
thing.
yeah, that was clearly a pass interference. And to be totally honest with you, whenever Pat got the football back, I just felt good. But I got increasingly concerned whenever that penalty happened. I was like, man, this is
Right,
looking
right,
really ugly.
right.
But we've seen this before. I really was just hoping that we could, go out there and make a play. And so I really wish there wasn't a penalty and that Rice would have just caught it
Right, right,
just
right, right.
so people
Even
can shut
even
their
the
mouth.
drive before, I mean, wasn't the Kelsey the drive before 51 yarder called back, and then we end up having to punt.
Yeah, yeah, and that
I
hurt
mean,
bad.
I'm saying like that was a momentum shift right there. It was
Yeah,
like, damn, as Chiefs fans, are we supposed to be mad because they called that? Like
right.
we're driving and they threw a flag. No, because you know what? We're used to every time we make a big play, it's a fucking flag that gets thrown
Yeah,
on us.
it's funny because they said that, oh man, these refs, but there's been more penalties called to take points off the board for Patrick Mahomes than any quarterback in the NFL.
Right. Exactly.
So tell
Like
me and look at the stats. and
We'll
look at
make a
how.
big play, and it's a holding call fucking 5 out of
Yeah,
10 times. Like 50% of the time we make a big play, it's a fucking
yeah.
holding call.
So there's no excuses there. Whenever the most penalties are affecting touchdowns the most by Patrick Mahomes and not any other quarterback, that lets you know everything you need to know about. Oh, they're not just blowing the whistle, and it's kind of like the Patriots effect now. Whenever you're the king of the hill, everybody you're cheating, you're the refs
Right.
are doing
Right,
this
because
and
it
that.
right, exactly. Because as a Chiefs fan, it was plenty of times where I'm like, man, the ref shouldn't fucking call that. You know what I mean? Against
Yeah,
Patriots, and it's a lot of missed calls in that AFC Championship game against the Patriots with the out of bounds play, the fumble, the kickoff where it touched them. Like it was
yeah.
so many questionable calls, but I mean,
It all red.
when you're
It
on the
all
losing
settled.
when you're on the losing end, you always want it to be different.
Oh yeah, and when D Ford had those three little fingertips that lined up a little bit too far, and the ref, calls that,
We
and
had
he
an
didn't line,
interception, a ceiling interception.
that
You know
was
what I mean?
over. The game's
Right,
over. We're going to the
right,
Super Bowl to win it, and
right.
so these are things that happen, and a lot of people have to realize that you can make all those excuses, but how can you be so critical of a quarterback and a team that is consistently going to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl every single year under the tenure and leadership of Patrick Mahomes?
Right. I mean, we're the team to beat. We're the defending champs. You got to beat us. It can't. You know what I mean? Like you just got to beat us. We played our worst game ever, and we still won the game. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
think that's a plus to our team to
That's
be
what
able to
champions
win
do.
the bad games.
That's what
You know,
champions do. I think I remember Marcus used to always say when he was doing a podcast. You win the game in the trenches,
yeah,
and that's what we do. Our
yeah.
backs against the wall, and in the trenches we do things to get the win.
Yeah, and coming into next week, this upcoming week against Atlanta, I really think that we're going to blow the doors off of Atlanta. I really do. I think that
That's my next
Andy.
question. I'm like,
Okay,
let's talk Chiefs Falcons Sunday night in Atlanta. First thing that comes to mind.
I think that Kirk looked really composed down the stretch. I really thought they lost that game.
That last
Um,
drive, I mean, was Kirk's best drive. I mean,
oh,
he
he marched right down the
he had
field.
nothing to lose. He's just fucking dropping dimes.
Yeah, yeah. Now I do feel like we're gonna get work a lot of pressure against their offensive line. I do see that. I think we're gonna look a lot better than what we looked last week. Um, they're not as good, and so we really should look good.
Right.
Not only that, I feel like Kirk Cousins played a really good game as far as playing the Eagles, a really good high profile team. But I think that we're gonna really exploit some of their weaknesses. I don't really know
Right.
what all they are, but I know they're not really on the level of a Bengals or a Ravens, and so I
So
really look for us to
I'm right. I'm just going to compare Cousins to Burrow. Cousins can't move like Burrow can move to get out of sacks and move
yeah,
around like that. So if we get the same amount of pressure on him that we was getting on Burrow, Kirk's going to go down. Kirk's going to make bad decisions. Kirk's going to throw interceptions. He might fumble. He might throw
yeah,
an interception and have a fumble. So I look for it to be a big defensive game for us. Linebackers step up, finally play well. They're at home. They'll
yeah,
probably put up 20 points, but again, I want to see the Chiefs put 30 on
yeah.
somebody, and I
30 to
I think it's going
35.
to happen, right?
I really do think I see 30 to 35. I'd see Chris Jones, um, either him or George Karlaftis. I see
How about
somebody with
both
a
of them?
multiple sack day. Like
Right?
somebody's getting two.
Another
Uh,
thing that I didn't
you know,
like with the defensive line in the Cincy game, we had Chris Jones on the outside way too many snaps. Put Chris
yeah,
Jones where he dominates. When he dominates and has him going up the middle, you have to move somebody over there, and then that's when the ends get off. That's when Dana get off. That's when
yeah,
Karlaftis will get off. Like stop moving Chris Jones to defensive end and let him play
yeah.
nose tackle
They were
where he
trying to
is
force
where he is an
Joe
all
Burrow
time
into the
great.
pocket, and they were trying to force Joe Burrow into the pocket because once he's able to scroll out just a little bit, not even coming out far, but I mean, they were trying to stop the big plays,
Yeah,
and they
but
thought that's what it, would do.
Mike Dana is a better defensive end than Chris Jones is a defensive end.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Mike Dana's not a better nose tackle than Chris Jones. So you know what I mean? Like put
yeah,
Chris Jones there and then let Dana and Karlaftis ball out because you're gonna have so much pressure up the middle.
yeah,
It's like
and
I
and
hate
those
when
are
they move him over there.
Yeah, and it's all about adjustments. And I think that coming into this next game, we're a team that watches a lot of film, and so coming into the next game, I see us doing something different.
Marcus said Kirk's getting sacked 6 times. I agree. Like Kirk is not going to be able to get away from the pressure like Burrow and Lamar was.
And
First
he
two weeks,
does.
first 2 weeks we had a lot of pressure. Lamar, we didn't get that. We had like one sack, maybe two, I think. But he's elusive. It's hard to get
Yeah,
him down. Burrow, some reason against us, he's fucking elusive. Like we'll have our
man.
hands on him and he'll just get away. But Kirk's not getting away. Kirk, he's gonna have to get the ball out fast in order to move it, and we're gonna have a lot of pressure on Kirk.
Yeah, and they're going to try to run the football, probably surprise us, and run the football a little bit more than what we realize because of that. You can't depend on Kirk to just, Kirk's not going to throw the ball, but maybe 24 times, 21, maybe
Right.
something like that. So you got to pick your spots.
Right. Kirk's going down. We blitz up the middle. Yeah, send the pressure up the middle, and Kurt is not going to be able to get away.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said.
Karlaftis is the guy that's going to have. Karlaftis going to have 3 sacks. Dana's going to have a sack. Chris Jones going to have a sack. I think that's 5 sacks right there.
I know somebody's going to have two. I just feel like we're really going to put a lot of pressure on their line. I watched that game with Atlanta versus the Eagles, and I really wasn't impressed with their line. They just
Atlantic
did
versus
enough.
Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Philly really blew it. I mean, Saquon, he missed the ball on 3rd and 3, and then they end up having to kick the field goal, which put them up 6. If
yeah.
Saquon catches that ball, that game's over. We don't see
Yeah.
Kirk do none of that. I
I've
mean,
seen Clyde Edwards-Helaire miss a couple of
that's
those,
football. Right, for
a couple of
sure.
those quick little those ones where it's like this is the game right here if you catch it, and
Right,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire just off his hands. And so I've
right,
seen that. That was the game, and I just feel like they played a really good game. Honestly, like it's hard to win games, it's hard to close games out, and people don't really realize that, and that's
right,
what's really made our team so good down the stretch because we don't always play the best, football throughout the whole duration of a game,
right.
but being able to close games out is very important.
Well,
And so
if anything, that was a momentum win for Philly. I mean, for Atlanta.
yeah,
So they're going back home Sunday Night Football, coming off a big win on the road at Philly. They're going to give us our best, give us their best. Give me a final score prediction. What do you got?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say this is gonna be a big game. I give us 35-17, 35-20, 35
30,
to 20.
35-20. I'm going to go 28-20. There we go. That sounds like
That's
a
a
good
good one.
score. I'm good with either one. Let's just get the dub. I don't want it to be a 1 point game because if it's a 1 point game, that means we didn't play up to our potential. And I'd like to go there really and play up to our potential and really, 2 scores at
Yeah,
least.
I don't think their defense is as good as the Bengals defense. I just,
Right,
from what
for
I
sure.
saw, I didn't see. And honestly,
Yeah, Philly controlled that whole game against them,
yeah,
really. I mean,
yeah, there is no reason why Philly. It was just poor clock management and bad decision making down the stretch.
yeah,
They had
bad
that
coaching
game
for
won.
sure.
Yeah, they had that game won. Their defense, the defense of Atlanta, is not that good. They're just not. And so I really look forward to us exposing them. I do think that Xavier Worthy will see the end zone this
We, we
upcoming
went
week.
we went to him a couple times. He just old boy was talking shit, so he made sure he was covering his
Oh,
ass.
100%. And like I said, the Atlanta won't do as good as what the Bengals did. And I think that's going to allow a lot of different things to happen. I do want to see Travis Kelsey get in there early. I want to see at least him touch the football at least 5 times in the first quarter. In the first quarter,
Yeah,
5 times at least.
Marcus says Kelsey gets his first this week. Hey,
Yeah,
if you're a betting man, put Kelsey as the first scorer of the week, first scorer of the game, because I think he scores first too.
yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. And if not, it's going to be our running back, of course. We're in the red zone. It's going to be
Mm,
um,
yeah,
Carson
still
Steele so we looking for it.
P Ryan on the sweep or something.
Yeah. So I mean, we did what we had to do. It's
We got
not
the dub 2 and
we
0.
got the dub. We're good, and so we move on to the next week. That's what we do as Chiefs fans, as Chiefs players,
Let's
and
get
that's
it.
what it is.
We still on our way. 3-peat still in full effect.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I appreciate you being here, man. We ran a
Yes,
little
sir,
long this
man.
time, but shit, we had a whole lot of stuff to talk about.
All day.
I'll see you next week.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
let's get it. Chiefs Kingdom.
Chiefs.
Tune
Yes, sir.
in. Let's
Let's
go.
go.